Hey there, fools. T here, back again, and this is basically my E3 assessment video. Been wanting to do this for a while. I've already given my assessment on the Juices Loose podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Terminator Juice. We do really good podcasts every Monday, 7:30ish. Come check us out live. I'm basically going to start from lowest to highest, and you probably already know what my number one is, and I think it's valid, even though I am who I am, the type of fan I am, but I'm sure there's going to be no surprise there, at least this time. First up, we have, should I say last up,
sides of the road if you want to make any progress.
But this is not about that. This is about their actual presentation, which was trash. Anthem looked like a really good game. You know, we need to see more on that, but the presentation was garbage. Testosterone-fueled, Western-style, just garbage. It was cringeworthy at times, and and they are in the basement as far as rankings of the E3. Next up, we have Bethesda. Again, they were kind of cringeworthy. Their video was kind of strange. It seemed like they were channeling Nintendo a little bit with Bethesda Land. I don't know what that was about. Whose idea was that? It just didn't quite hit the mark. I see what they were going for, but didn't hit the mark. But the thing is, you mostly got a lot of games that were already out. You know, add-on content, you know, DLC, stuff like that. VR versions of games that are already out. It really, honestly, they really didn't need to be at E3, at least in that capacity, to have some presentation, because they didn't show anything presentation worthy. So yeah, it's not like, oh, it was terrible, I hated it. It was just kind of meh. It was just kind of there, and didn't come across that great. Well, you had some stuff in there, you know, Wolfenstein and stuff like that, but overall they were above EA, but not by a whole lot to Sony. Sony's presentation wasn't terrible. It just wasn't a lot of new there, and it wasn't a lot of pizzazz with the old. And the VR segment just put me to sleep. Like, I mean, obviously Sony has invested in their VR, and they basically have to at least make their money back on this situation. So they're gonna, you know, put VR stuff out there. But VR is just not gonna happen. Not yet, anyway. It's not there. It's not consumer friendly, user friendly, and I'm talking like based on cost and what you actually get as far as applications and games. They're not quite there yet for video games, so that whole segment I just don't even remember. And like I said, what we saw was stuff, mostly what we saw was like, you know, DLC and stuff that we saw at last year's presentation, games that still aren't out yet, by the way. Yeah, as overall was kind of meh. At least it was quick and to the point. They knocked out, it was games, and they showed games and stuff. It wasn't a whole lot of fluff, but overall they're at the bottom of the console manufacturers on the list. Next up, we have Microsoft. Now, Microsoft had a pretty good show, I thought. I mean, they presented their hardware well. As a person who deals with marketing, I'm a videographer, editor, obviously, filmmaker. So I know about all the little catchphrases, and I'm really keen to that stuff. And all that stuff really stood out during their presentation. 4K, 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 most powerful console, and all that stuff just kind of annoyed me, where it works on a certain section of people, but it doesn't me at all. Again, like, I know commercials, I know all about buzzwords, I know about, you know, strategic marketing, and it was just so marketing buzzwordy. You know, it's just like 4K, 4K, Ultra 4K Blu-ray player, most powerful console, blah, blah, blah. And then you get into the muddled, stuff about basically exclusives. You know, launch exclusive. Like, I mean, launch exclusive. I'm guessing is that it's going to come out on Xbox first, or Xbox and Windows 10 first. So that's what I'm guessing launch exclusive means. And then you have console exclusive, which means it's only going to come out on Xbox as a console, but it'll also still be on PC. I just think that navigating that, them trying to navigate that was just kind of shady to me. You know, and again, I think most people, which I don't think a lot of non-hardcore people watch E3 and stuff like that, so I don't think that'll work on most people. There's the casual fan. I don't know if he watches E3 or not, but that stuff will work on them. It's like, oh man, all this stuff's coming to Xbox, and they won't even realize the launch exclusive stuff. They just hear exclusive and they'll go with that. But Xbox One X is a powerful console, obviously. There's stuff about Xbox One I'm excited for, which is more backwards compatibility with the original Xbox. I have maybe 35 or so. I have more than that. I have close to 50, I think, Xbox original games. It'll be cool to be able to play that stuff all in one system at some point. Right now, I still have to play my Xbox 360 and occasionally the Xbox One, because it doesn't support, or excuse me, the original Xbox games I have to play on the 360, but even those, all those don't work on 360 either. So I don't know if that's going to change or not, but it'd be cool if I could play, just throw my disc in and, you know, download whatever I have to do and be able to play those games all in one system. That's a really cool thing to have. So hopefully that'll happen. But that was cool. And the presentation was good. It had, you know, I think they had like, they showed 40 something games or something like that. And, you know, obviously you had the corporate PR speak in there, but it was still a pretty solid show. So I put them above Sony for sure. And yeah, for the most part, it was a pretty decent show. Next up, we have Ubisoft. I was not expecting a ton. I mean, I don't really go into E3 thinking about the third-party publishers that much anyway. It's mostly, for me, it's all about the console manufacturers, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. So it was really a nice thing to see that Ubisoft put on a pretty strong showing. You know, they obviously have the new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Origin. I love the setting of Egypt, but you know, that doesn't mean it's going to be a good game or I'm going to like it, because I also love this setting of Assassin's Creed 3. But that game bored me to tears. So hopefully Origins will not do that. It'll be more of a game than I'm looking forward to. So, but you know, they obviously have the Raving Rabbits, which was a complete surprise, and one of the reasons I'm rating them so high, because you know, when it started off as rumors, I was like, that's a ridiculous idea. That's not going to happen. That's stupid. And then when it was still rumored because they hadn't confirmed it, but we pretty much realized that it was a real thing. I think I was more of like, oh my God, this is a real thing. This is going to be so crappy and much trash. And then they showed it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And it's a game I'm definitely going to get. And I can't believe I'm saying that. It looked really cool, very fun. I think there's some XCOM elements in there. It's a nice strategy, tactical type of game. It reminded me a lot of Codename Steam, which is a game I love on 3DS that nobody bought, except for me and Nia. Shout out to Nia, the video gamer. Yeah, so I was completely surprised by that game, and it kind of threw me off. And you know, another big banger for Ubisoft was the Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer, which was a little off-putting with some of the dialogue. Just seemed a little bit out of place. but Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a thing. It's happening. I'm super excited about that. It's one of my favorite GameCube games, one of my favorite games of all time, Beyond Good and Evil. And I'm so happy that we're finally going to get a sequel to it, a prequel, whatever it's going to be, whatever. I just want to get back into that world, and I just love that style. If you have the means to play Beyond Good and Evil, I suggest you do it. I think it still holds up pretty well. It's just such a different, quirky, cool game. I love it to death. So I definitely implore you to check it out. But yeah, I mean, those two things alone, the surprise of Rabbids plus Mario, Mario plus Rabbids, and the, you know, kind of surprise of Beyond Good and Evil, because they said at E3 they weren't going to show anything, and then bam, they hit us with that trailer. Very cool. Very excited for this game to happen. And you know, Ubisoft just had a solid show. They didn't do the typical stuff they usually do with the cheesy, terrible humor that they usually do, the corny stuff they usually do. They seem to have found their stride this E3, and I hope they continue on this way. And of course, number one, Nintendo. Duh. I didn't give Nintendo number one last year, 2016, and I certainly didn't give them number one during 2015's E3. So, yeah. So it's not like, oh, I'm a Nintendo fan, so I'm going to pick them all the time. They definitely won it this year on core Nintendo games. Obviously, Mario Odyssey is amazing, stellar. Nintendo seems to somehow put out a trailer of a new game that floors us, and then put out a second trailer that blows that first trailer away, especially when it comes to the Mario games. They did it with 3D World as well, and they did it again with Odyssey. Odyssey 2's trailer, or Odyssey's second trailer blows away the first one and opens the game up, and you really get to see just how awesome this game is and it's going to be. Okay, and then you get a console Kirby, like a traditional console Kirby game. And again, that's a core Nintendo fan game. I know every Nintendo fan doesn't love it, but as a platforming fan, I'm just a Kirby fan. So I want to actually talk about, you know, what's a Nintendo fan in another video. But and then you get Yoshi, and it's gorgeous, and it turns out it's running on Unreal Engine 4, which is just strange. That's such a strange thing that a Yoshi game from Nintendo is running on Unreal Engine 4. And, you know, it is a beautiful game. And Nintendo said they mastered Unreal Engine 4. And it's showing in that game. And, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it in the future. And then you get Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is awesome. I love the new battle system. I can't wait to, like, get ingratiated with the characters in this crazy world with the Titans. You know, this is definitely back to the first Xenoblade Chronicles and not X. And I think a lot of fans of Chronicles will appreciate that, because the stuff about X they didn't like, they're going to get that in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I just know this world's going to be huge and fun to explore and meet cool characters and all that stuff. And the battle system looks great. And then, of course, you get the graphic for Metroid Prime 4. And yes, it was just a graphic, but it is a big thing for Nintendo fans to know that they're getting a new mainline Metroid Prime game. Because we've been wanting one for, what, I don't know, 7 years now. And we're getting it, and it's great. And if I know Nintendo, this will be, Metroid Prime 4 will be Holiday 2018's game. Nintendo doesn't usually string along, not the main Nintendo, you know, the main development studios in Nintendo. They don't. They sometimes will show a game a year before it happens, or 6 months before it's ready, and then it's to market. This is not Final Fantasy VII. You know, this is not, oh, we didn't even get a trailer, so this game is 5 years away. No. I'm gonna bet, and I'll take any betters against it, that this Metroid Prime 4 will be a holiday 2018 game. I'm pretty confident in that. So it was very obviously awesome to see that. And you know, we're getting Rocket League, which is cool because it's perfect for the Switch. And you know, the only thing that kind of took it down a notch for me was that there was no indie reel, which I was really surprised that there was no Nindy, I should say, Nindy reel. And maybe I'll do my own because I feel like that was the one thing missing from this event from Nintendo. And obviously later on in the Treehouse, we got the announcement for Metroid Samus Returns, which is a remake of Metroid 2, Return of Samus on the Game Boy, which a lot of people never played. So it's cool to get a reimagining of that game, and on the 3DS, and very soon, I think it's September it comes out. So I've already pre-ordered my special edition, and can't wait for that. So great show for Nintendo, and I can add in the tournaments that they did, which were awesome. It was cool to see one of my own friends there, Robert of Gaming With Me, make it into the tournament, and he won his first match pretty handily. He did pretty good, and I was very proud of that kid. And you know, I could talk about that. I could talk about the Treehouse, which is always great, even when they're showing one game like they did last year. When they show more, obviously it's better, but the Treehouse is a great thing. It just extends E3, because I think most people check out of E3 once their favorite company's conference is over. And for Nintendo fans, we get cool stuff all the way through. We get to see really in-depth gameplay, and we get to see Nintendo's awesome booths and people just having fun and enjoying themselves, and you know, which makes for an overall better show. So that is my ratings. If you want a grade letter, if you want a grade letter, I'll give EA an F. I'll give Bethesda a D+. I'll give Microsoft, or not Microsoft, Sony was up next. I'll give Sony a C. I'll give Sony a C-. I'll give Microsoft a C. I'll give Ubisoft a B, and I'll give Nintendo a B+. And yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna rate him. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about my opinions here in the comments below. Thank you as always for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out. Oh yeah, one more thing. Play Nintendo, fools.